This month I'm theming potpourri because, well, first of all, I couldn't settle on a theme. Get off my back. Nothing tickled my fancy. My fancy responded to none of the coochie coos. So potpourri, that's a good catch-all for talking to and about any old thing. So this week I'm talking to one of my personal idols in the online community world. This guy is the online community builder of online community builders. And he's a really cool guy. So you want to talk to him with me? You nervous? That's cool. I'll handle all the talking. Let's go. Let's talk to Jordan Godbey. You are listening to ADHD Big Brother, the podcast for adults struggling with their ADHD, their comorbid depression, their anxiety. Oh, it's just a hoot. I'm your host and your ADHD Big Brother, Russ Jones. I've got ADHD too. I've got depression as well. It's crap-tastic. So let's learn some stuff. Let's laugh at some stuff. Let's make some commitments to do some stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, here's some stuff. Welcome to the podcast. I'm really happy that I'm really ecstatic that you can't tell from my voice, but if you saw my eyes and how wide they are and how bright they are right now for you, and the smile on my face is ear to ear that you're here. Trust me, I'm over the moon that you're listening right now. Do I? I have resting bitch voice. I'm sorry. I'm actually excited to hear apologies for my dry tone a second ago. All right, let's get through the mental health real quick, as we do every week, to normalize talking about our school spaghetti. That's what we're doing. It's the good stuff, the bad stuff, the weird, the really weird. We're not always fine, so we gotta talk about this stuff. Get comfortable talking about the uncomfortable. Feels better, I think, to get it off our chest. If you follow along the podcast, or if you attended our monthly goals call in the ADHD Big Brother community, you would have heard me say August sucked for my mental health. Pretty dumb. It was a dumb month. I have children that love me. I have a girlfriend that loves me. I got a great email and a testimonial from a therapist that I helped, and that made me feel really good. There's plenty of love out there in my sphere. In my atmosphere, but only when I was around it. You get me alone with my brain last month, and it was such an asshole. ADHD and depression, they're stupid. I think it sucks. My brain's just wired differently. Come on, everybody. I don't know. Does that ever work with you guys? Does that do anything for you? Personally, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I get it, but it's like, I don't know. It's like someone saying, my cells just grow differently. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of a tumor, and those are scary. What kind of wired different? I mean, when you wire a house differently, that's what causes house fires. What are we doing here? But guess what? September's a new month, and I'm trending up in my own mental health. I'm able to get up and go on my morning walk. That's setting the tone. In our community, we've got this no alcohol challenge going on with a few of us, and we're crossing 100 days sober in the next few days, which is awesome. I can't tell you how many times I thought, oh God, it would be so great to escape with a whiskey right now, this bullshit in my brain. But thanks to the community, we're crushing it. So my vibes, they're starting to vibrate on a much better frequency. I'm at different megahertz now. So anyway, I credit a lot of me getting through this last month with the ADHD Big Brother community. The support that we give and we get in there, it's phenomenal. So I think it's fitting today that we talk about online communities. And who better than the online community master himself, Jordan Godbey. I've been a fan of Jordan since I started there was a time when I was like, oh my God, online community, this is the answer for my own particular ADHD. But it was such a big deal to me. And so I just dove in, and I have been geeking out on Jordan Godbey ever since. He's one of the greats. Here's his bio for you. Jordan is a renowned online community builder who helps thought leaders, coaches, and experts create thriving paid communities that deliver transformation at scale. He's worked with top entrepreneurs like Ali Abdaal and Justin Welsh, and brands like StoryBrand and SamCart, empowering them to drive engagement, retention, and higher lifetime customer value. He knows some stuff. This is the bottom line here. He knows some stuff about online community building. I'm grateful that I got to meet him and chat with him. He's a decent fella. here you go. Here is the conversation with myself and Jordan Godbey, already in progress. I wanted to talk to somebody about community because I can't shut up about it. I have one. I believe it is a magical elixir for adults with ADHD. You are the expert in the field of online communities. Can you, why is community such a good supportive thing for people?
Yeah, I love that question. I think we've all realized that information alone is not enough to solve all of our problems. You know, that's
Right.
kind of the first major thing is
Wait.
we've all bought a million books and probably haven't read
Oh,
them all, but like one day we'll get around to reading them. But even if we do read them, we're like, that's such an awesome book. But maybe my life's not that different after reading the book. And maybe I get one or two ideas and I try to do those things. And then the next continuation
yes.
from the books are the online courses or the YouTube videos, or, we've done those things. And now we've got
Yeah.
AI where we can have any answer to any question immediately. And it's still not going to solve all of our problems because it's not really an information problem that we have. So my belief is that it's more around a connection and an implementation problem that we have. And so
Oh,
when we're
yeah.
disconnected, when we're isolated and we're all alone in our room trying to do hard things, trying to build a business or trying to lose weight or trying to get healthy or get a relationship, it's it's overwhelming and life's really busy and there's all these things happening and there's distractions and there's all these priorities. And when we're alone, it's really hard to get over those hard moments, those hurdles, those lows, right? When we're in a
Yeah.
community, we see, oh, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's
Yes.
struggling or the only one that's confused or the only one that I tried the thing that it said to do and it didn't work. Now what? And then we get to
Yeah.
see that, sometimes we need to have belief before we can fully kind of commit and move forward on certain things. And so one of the ways that we can build belief is we can see when it's working for other people. And so if we're in a community and maybe someone's been there for a couple of years now and they're farther along on the journey, they
Yeah.
can act as one of those models that we can look to and go, wow, okay, this person actually got over the things that I'm struggling with and got to the other side. So I'm going to stick with it more. I'm going to be more
Yeah.
resilient. I'm going to really kind of commit to this thing versus you just read a book and you're supposed to radically change your life. And you're like, I don't even know if this
Oh,
if this
yeah.
author even figured it out or if they're just kind of blowing smoke. So that's one of the big
Yeah.
things that I love about community.
And then you you read the book. This is, I believe in mindset shifting and perspective shifting and all that stuff. But now what?
Yeah,
Okay, I think differently today. Tomorrow, my autopilot kicks back on.
that's right.
Where's the I love what you're saying about when we're around other people and you see other people succeeding, or if you see somebody else that's in your same boat failing and
Hmm.
you have a nugget, like, oh, I tried this, I tried this. I love the idea that we can hold hope for other people that are
Hmm.
going through a similar struggle, but you can't have that from on your own, reading a book or doing a thing. Did you? I have my own stories about failed online courses that I've created, even I'll tell you really quick, when I was a realtor, this years ago, I I'm gonna toot my own horn, a genuine heart. I wanted to help first time home buyers. I really did because they're all doing it wrong. And the loans and the realtors and how do you find the right lender? So I spent a shitload of money and entertainment industry friends of mine out here in LA. We filmed a course. I hired someone to make me a workbook, a physical workbook that'll walk you through the whole process of buying your first house, what you need to know, questions to ask, the process, the order of operations. And I sold none. And here's the kicker. Here's the biggest kicker. I couldn't even give it away to somebody. I had a friend
Wow.
call me from out of state that said, "Hey, I had a question about we're thinking about buying our first house." I was like, "Oh, great! I made something for you. Here it is for free." Yeah, we were just kind of hoping to talk to you. I was like, "Oh, the big lesson for me was just because people need it doesn't mean they want it." And
Yeah.
oh shit, I've heard you come up from you've made online courses before in the past.
Hmm.
Did you have a similar experience or can you talk about your experience with online courses?
Absolutely. Yeah. That must have been a pretty painful experience for you.
Sucked. Yeah, no lie, it sucked.
Yeah, and it's very common. So there's that, and I think it's kind of it's because I think we're coming at this problem from two different perspectives. So you as the subject matter expert, it's like you eat and breathe and live this
Yeah,
stuff all day every day, and you're
yeah,
passionate about it, and you've seen people get burned, and you're like, I want to help people, and so you want to give and create this amazing thing and put everything into it. But from the other perspective, they're like, hey, can you just tell me the answer in like 30 seconds? Like, I don't really, I don't really want to learn like
I
the
know.
history of the housing market and
There's
like,
homework.
and so it's this funny
Yeah,
juxtaposition of we think that to create value and to create a good course and something we can charge and hopefully charge a lot for, we need to put a ton of stuff in it. We need to make it like big and impressive.
yeah,
And what the other person is looking for is they just want a magic wand. They just want a shortcut. Like, can
yeah,
you just tell me the one thing I need to know? And so it's funny because what if your course were to be like, all right, this is going to be the shortest course that you've ever seen before. It's like a 10-minute course and it's the one thing you need to know and it's $1,000 and it'll save you $10,000, right? That'd be a radical idea because
yeah,
there aren't many people that do that. But that's the thing that has been the aha moment for me is that back in the earlier days of the internet, there was a information shortage. Like we
yeah,
didn't have access to all the information that we have today. And now we have the opposite. We have this information tsunami where it's too
yeah,
much stuff. So we're actually overloaded and we can't even think to consume more information. We're like, I just need the shortcut. I need the answer. So that's one of the key things that I teach my clients is whether they're making a course or a community or having those things integrated, which is the best combination,
yep,
is don't try to tell them everything that they might need to know or that you know as the expert. Just give
yeah.
them the fastest path to getting to the outcome that they want.
Oh man, yeah, that resonates big time. And I see the power in other people to help with that, like the community aspect of it. We have this community at ADHD Big Brother where we daily accountability is just off the charts for us, and it's gamified. And like one of the biggest issues with ADHD is it's the cliches. It's not a knowledge problem, right? Like what you're saying, like it's the doing of the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And ADHD splits that and it prevents people from starting. But when you have a collective of people, and I would imagine like being in-person communities, but it's not always realistic and to be together in person. And I'd say one of the things that I found really magical is from a depression standpoint. It hard enough to get out of bed when you know that engagement with other people would help. But if you're depressed and you can't even get out of bed, getting to a computer and eliminating that isolation through the a community that's online can really be freaking great. I had no question with that. I just wanted to shoot.
I
There's,
agree. And now you don't even have to get out of bed. You can just roll, grab your
I know you
phone
just roll
and,
silent.
and you'll be right there.
Yeah,
Um, I think one of the things about the doing that you were saying is a lot of times the knowledge or the information is generic or genericized, right? It's like you just do
okay.
1 + 1 = 2. But what I've started thinking about a lot lately is we are all in such radically different life circumstances, whether it's our families, our finances, our own internal chemistry and biology, we can't all just do the exact same things, right? Like imagine a 20-year-old guy who's single and no kids and fully healthy, or a 40-year-old guy with 4 kids and dealing with some health issues and relationship
Yeah,
issues, and
yeah.
you don't have the same energy, capacity, time, like all of these different variables. And so the thing I like about the community is it can help to normalize that and show how different people are navigating those challenges and how they are adopting it to fit into their lifestyles because it's going to look different for everybody.
I know that you talk about just because I have your stuff, I get your newsletters, man. The is you talk about the various types of communities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you talk about that a little bit? Because I think I'm in between the two and I can't figure it out. So I might need your help with that. But can you talk about briefly like
Sure.
what are the different types of communities, pros and
Yeah.
cons, maybe?
Yeah, so for me, the community world, or just the word even community, it's a kind of a big buzzword, a big trend, and
Hmm.
it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And after having so many conversations with people, sometimes, we'd be 10, 15 minutes into it, and I would just now realize like we're not even on the same page what we're talking about. You're talking
Yeah.
about like in-person events, and I'm only doing online stuff, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I focus mainly on these online communities, and within online communities, I created this matrix, this 2 by 2. And so there's at least 4 different types of communities that we help people try to visualize so they can put themselves into the right bucket. Because if you're going down the wrong path without realizing it, things are going to be really difficult for you, just having wrong expectations or wrong alignment. So for us, if we zoom out, I see 2 major drivers or value drivers for these types of communities. One is connection, so having the members themselves be the main reason that you're coming to this group to have conversations, to have live events and that kind of thing. And then the other side is curriculum. So it's either connection driven or curriculum driven, and sometimes both. And so some communities are specifically focused around following a certain protocol or curriculum where we're all trying to implement a system or we're trying to learn and go through a course and we all have the same outcome, basically. We're all going to the same destination.
Gotcha.
But on the curriculum side, or sorry, on the connection side, what's pulling us together is usually a commonality between us. It might be a job role, it might be ADHD, it might
Yeah.
be we're all single parents, whatever that thing is. And we're trying to have these organic conversations and collaborations on how to navigate these challenges and these goals that we have in our life. So there's not a very singular and specific outcome that everyone is trying to achieve at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I sometimes I feel like I'm right in the middle of those two.
Mm.
That's what's really interesting to me. Like, so the peer-to-peer community, I think that's what we have
Hmm.
really, because it's, it's other adults with ADHD, um, collaborating together on, basically getting our shit together is kind of the joke of it all, really. The but in that, the community powered course aspect of it is like the thing that we're all doing together. We're doing daily accountability posting. We're doing weekly planning together. That kind of a thing. It's not big picture type thing like,
Hmm.
which would be more higher ticket, but it feels muddy for me. And I'm
Mm.
wondering if, like, I don't know if just thinking out loud about it, of needing to separate the two. But I feel like sometimes they go hand in hand.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of overlap and maybe blurriness between it. So I wouldn't get too hung up on needing to be fully exactly in one bucket. I'm thinking a lot lately as being on a spectrum of different elements of the community models. So what I'm hearing is it sounds like you're creating a container, a place, this online place, as a support system, as like a scaffolding for living a productive life. And so you're like, we've created these routines, these rituals, we've got some trainings, we've got things that you can show up and participate in, some
Yeah.
accountability. And so it's like this gym, how to have like a healthy, productive, successful ADHD life, right?
Yeah, kind of in a way. Yeah, I believe so. There's an element to it that is, that comes from my, in my core. I'm like, it's not enough that we know how to do this stuff. What
Hmm.
now? What are we doing? Like what? So even that, I think that's where I kind of get hesitant on even building a course that goes into the community, is because I'm like, but no one's going to do it. No one's going to do the work. How do I get
Mm.
people to do the work? And like, how do you, that's out of my control, it feels like.
It absolutely is. And that's a hurdle that I had to go over, and I think everyone has to go over is we build and create a lot of these things so much because we care and we want to see people's lives improved and changed. But then you encounter the hard truth of I don't have any control over these
Yeah.
people and what they do, and they have to do the work. So
Yeah.
you have to finally, I think, find the right balance and get okay with knowing that you have done everything in your power, or like finding a level that you feel good about, where you're like, I've created this space, I've created the onboarding. I've made it as clear as possible. I show up, I answer questions. Like I can only do so much
Yeah.
besides going to their house and sitting them in front of the computer and clicking the button. And so you kind of got to draw the line of where your responsibility ends and theirs begins.
Yeah. That makes good sense, man. I want to throw myself under the bus really quick. Just because there might be I know a few people actually in our community who are budding community builders or that are building. So you sent me an email like through your newsletter stuff,
Yeah.
and the title just called me out. It said, "Community is not the offer." And I was like, wait, what? And I read the email and I'm like, oh shit. I proselytize community. I think it's the answer. I know that there are components to it that are the answer to helping an adult with ADHD, but it's not the offer. Can you tell me what my thinking was, why it was wrong, and what the proper thinking is?
Sure.
Help me,
So
Jordan. Help me through this.
absolutely. So my perspective on it is that the community is the container for the offer. It's the
Mhm.
vehicle that delivers the offer. It's like saying, "Hey guys, I've got this course. You want to buy it? It's a course and it's $100." And they're like, I don't know. Like, why would I, why would I want to buy it? Because it's awesome and it's a course. It's a course for ADHD. You're like, I'm still not really convinced.
Oh
And
my
so where I'm
God.
going is I'm a big proponent. If you follow my stuff, this is no surprise. It's about selling the transformation, right? It's about
Mhm.
saying, we're going to go on a journey together and I'm going in this direction. I'm trying to help these type of people with this type of challenge achieve this type of outcome in their
Yeah.
life. Is that something that you want to be a part of and you want to come along with us? And like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah. Um, because there's so many, I'm just a big fan of specificity, AKA niching down.
Yep.
It's a huge topic, and
100%.
it's
Yep.
a scary, hard thing to do the first time that you do it because you realize you're cutting off a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're like, no, 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 I want to help everyone with ADHD in the world with every type of symptom and problem and challenge that they all have, it's like, that's a really difficult thing to do. And
Yeah.
so unless you've got, millions of dollars of funding and you're going to be able to create a huge brand and hire lots of people, you're not going to make a lot of progress or traction. And so when
Yeah.
you niche down and you say, I just want to help this type of person with relationships or with, work success, professional success, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you're able to narrow your focus and you're able to get people instead of that lukewarm, like, yeah, sounds kind of interesting. I guess maybe I'll check it out. Or they wouldn't even check it out for free when you made that course, right? It's
Yeah.
because the problem wasn't specific enough to them and painful enough to them, and the outcome wasn't specific enough and exciting enough for them. But when you can
Yeah.
really dial those things in, they would almost pay, any amount. And you're able to charge a whole lot more because you're also not just doing a generic, like, this will help you in your life. It's like,
Trust
okay,
me.
trust
Trust me.
me,
This is
it'll
going
be
to be great.
great. You're able to actually say, like, this is designed to help you get a raise and get promoted and have a
Yeah.
successful career. And how much would that be worth to you if you've been struggling for years and years and you really want this thing so badly and I can actually help you do it? You're like, wow, that would be worth like a lot. And so
Yeah.
it becomes better for everyone. And so that's what I mean when I say the community is not the offer, is that that's kind of the surface level. And I really push my clients to go deeper and say,
Cool.
well, how are you going to help them? And what are you going to help them with? And what are the different ways that we can do that? And how are they going to help each other? Because you're really trying to design an environment where they're going to be the most successful. And so
Yeah.
that's my long-winded answer
I
of what
I
it
love
means.
your long-windedness. I love how you ramble, Jordan. The
Thank you.
and that's the thing that when people hire you, you help them go from I just want to help everybody all the time. And you're like you help them find out who that is.
Yeah,
And then in terms of the online community building, you help them build their communities, right?
correct. So what our sweet spot is when someone has been building an audience around a subject matter, a topic, and they're like, I love talking about this thing. I love creating content and making videos, and I've attracted all these people that look to me for advice and information and support and all of that. How can I better serve these people in a deeper way and monetize that and build a business around that and
Yeah.
do this full time and grow this? And that's what we really help them do. So we help them to get really clear around that offer that we talked
Yeah.
about of what's going to be a really successful, compelling offer that's going to create a ton of value for those people and be an amazing business for you. And then we go through the process of helping them actually build it, stand it up, launch it, and run it.
That's awesome, man. That's such a cool thing to do. Especially, I speak on behalf of like a lot of us ADHDers too. Like I'm a creative tsunami. I can think of a million things, but I can also easily fall into the weeds and lose structure.
Mhm.
And my heart wants to be open to all of it at all the time. And it's not a sustainable, that's not a business model. But sometimes just to philosophize with you a little bit, like
Mhm.
that's a hard thing sometimes to think about. It feels like you have to move away from the heart of it all, which is I'm helping people, and you have to think like a business owner of I have to monetize and make money and things like that. That's such a hard uh, chasm to cross sometimes. I know for me
Mhm.
specifically, do you deal that with any of the people that are like, I mean, you're dealing with really like Ali Abdals of the world, right? Like, so is there still that um, struggle sometimes?
Yeah, it's a great point because in some ways, those things are almost at opposite ends of the spectrum. And a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
my clients are more in that creator, visionary, artistic side of things. And so the major value that we're bringing is the opposite of that, which is that structure, that order, the
yeah,
sequencing, the accountability, the timelines, and it's taking all of that genius and greatness and good ideas and filtering it through a process that's going to help you execute it and deliver it and make it successful. And we bring in a lot of best practices that we've been able to see behind the scenes of a lot of different communities because a lot of times like one of the hardest questions is pricing. They're like, I don't even know like
yeah.
how much I should charge for this,
I know.
right? And I like to say pricing is an art and a science because yeah, you could go do some research and look at competitors and all of that, but at the end of the day, like just to be real, you're just guessing and making up a price and saying,
Yeah.
will you pay this much? And if people pay it, then boom, you're in business.
Yay.
And that's like literally all that it is.
Oh
And we
God.
know this because how much should a purse cost? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, can you get one for 20 bucks? Like, probably. And there's also purses that are like $20,000, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Right? And we don't have to get
Yeah.
into all of that, but the point is, there's
Totally.
so much variety out there. There's so much positioning. There's so much niche, and there's so much things that people really value. And sometimes for some of my clients, they almost have like these fans and these big personas and people are just like I just want to pay to be closer to you and just be in this like
Yeah.
inner world and inner circle and get to hear. And
That
so
proximity stuff.
yeah, the
Yeah.
proximity stuff
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so but if you're providing more structure, more accountability, more support, if you're familiar with the Hormozy value equation, one of the
Yep.
elements is the likelihood of success. So when you read a book, the likelihood of success is quite low. And that's why the book only costs $10, right? Whereas if you were to get into this boot camp intense program that's $1,000 a month, and like one of the features is, I don't know, we'll call you every day if you don't show up, like you're going to think, wow, I'm probably going to succeed because it costs a lot of
Yeah.
money and these people are really committed. And I've got a success coach or an accountability coach that cares if I show up or not and is going to call me out. So those are all different factors that you can use to try to figure out what kind of business or community do you want to run and how much should you
Yeah.
charge for it.
God, that's such a that I 1,000% deal with that all the time. And plus I have to marry that up against my imposter syndrome, right? That says you're not worth that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's that plays into account big time. And there's the also the I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm like, I want to help the people that are struggling. And
Yeah.
people that are struggling tend to not have a lot of money. And I'm like, how do I help those people? And so it's such a difficult question to answer,
Yeah.
that it's tough. But first things first, I have to stop calling my community the offer and and create the difference there. The I had another question for you. Oh, I wanted to ask you about this.
Hmm.
This is a philosophical question. I'm going to take philosophical questions for 200 now, Jordan. And the
Yes.
question is, do you I don't want to share my opinions on it just yet, but like
Okay.
AI is taking over. I love it.
Uh-huh.
I love a lot of it. When the
Hmm.
Terminator world happens, Skynet occurs, whatever. Well, great. Um, Bravo, Skynet. But in the meantime, it's starting to infiltrate communities.
Mm.
And I want to know, where do you think that's going? And what are your what are your views on that, on
Yeah.
AI? And I will counterpoint you so fast right now.
Great question. So I look at a lot of this. If we just zoom out, it's the broad category of technology
Okay.
because people had the same qualms and fears about the internet. And so the way that I look at it is it's a magnifying glass and it's a magnifier of humanity. And
Okay.
within humanity, we have a lot of good stuff and we have a lot of bad stuff.
Yep.
And it amplifies both. So, like, the
Yep.
internet has done, it's been the biggest value creator in humankind, the amount of great free access to information and
Totally.
funny stuff and games and all the things for the whole world. And at the same time, we all know about the dark side of things and the dark web and all this criminal stuff. And so you can't have one without the other. And I think AI, there's a similar thing that's happening with it.
Yeah.
So one of the things lately I've heard about is people using AI more and more to write more and more, kind of atrophies your own ability to think and write and create. And so you kind of get lazier, you lose that muscle, you lose that ability. And so
Yeah.
um, we use it a lot in terms of community. I think the positive view going forward for me is that it handles all the boring, logistical, operational, basic kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and it takes away the repetitive things. So, for example, let's say you run a live event once a week, and people come and they just kind of you get a lot of the same questions. And you can either answer the question over and over and over again, or you can say, hey, you know what, I recorded a video and it's in the community and you can go watch that video, and I'm not going to spend 15 minutes right now like retelling you everything that's in the video, just go watch the video.
Yeah.
But then the better version of that is I don't have to wait for the next call 6 days from now. I can just immediately talk to the AI agent and be like, hey, I'm really struggling with XYZ. What should I do? It's like, well, actually, Russ recorded a great video you can go watch right now. And it's like, oh, amazing. Click. And now I'm
Yeah.
watching it. And so when I come to the next call, I can go, hey, I watched that video that you made. That was
Yeah.
awesome. But what about this? And you're like, ooh, that's a really interesting point. Now we can have this organic, high quality conversation that got accelerated because of AI. It didn't
Yeah.
get
Okay.
totally replaced because of AI, but it got assisted. So,
That's a brilliant way to look at that. Holy crap. I was thinking of it in terms of the the day-to-day people using it instead of communicating,
yeah.
instead of the community aspect of engaging in one another. But you
Hmm.
just hit a really interesting point that I had not thought of, which is it helps facilitate that conversation
Yeah.
because it eliminates the mundane, repetitive thing that now we can go deeper. You
Yeah.
and
And
me can go
so,
deeper now. Yeah.
right. Like maybe today someone might post in the community and say, hey, does anyone know of like a checklist for doing XYZ? And then someone else might say, yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago, and here's the link. But that wasn't super valuable, and maybe not a great use of that helper's time to go dig all that up. That would be a good example of just asking the AI for some very tactical administrative thing.
Hmm.
But maybe that could open up the possibility of someone then posting in the community and saying, hey guys, I've really been struggling with XYZ lately. I'm really curious if anyone else is struggling with that and how are you dealing with that? And then that opens up a much deeper, more organic
Yeah.
conversation that you wouldn't necessarily want to go to AI for because you know it's just going to spit you back a kind of generic list of recommendations. It's like, I don't want to hear do these 5 things. I want to hear what are you all feeling and doing
Yeah.
about this challenge?
Yeah. This is a question that probably AI could handle with our conversation, but there's probably going to be people listening who want to make their own communities, their own ADHD communities.
Hmm.
You don't have to join mine. I'm an advocate for doing the work. So what are the things to think about, things to not think about? If you like the Jordan Godbey, these are the 5 things to do, whatever, the blog post in your mind.
Yeah. So I want to touch on because my first thing that I was going to say is you have to decide if it's going to be a free community or a paid community.
Okay.
And my focus has been exclusively on paid communities. There's a lot of other people out there that talk about doing free communities, whether it's on Facebook groups or school or any of that
Yeah.
other stuff, right? And that's why I was saying earlier, like the community world is this, it's a pretty big world and there's a lot of different opinions, a lot of conflicting opinions and views.
Okay.
And so mine has been to create something more premium, more valuable, more curated and vetted, and to charge for that.
Yeah.
Um, but it kind of ties back to what you were saying earlier about I really want to help people. And so what I have found is that the most sustainable long-term model for helping people is putting on your own oxygen mask first, which means creating a successful business and business model that you can charge for and you can
Hmm.
get customers for and you can serve those people who can afford to pay. And then by doing so, there will be byproducts, there will be sawdust that gets created that you can turn into PDFs or videos or things that you can give away for free that doesn't cost you any of your time to those people who can't
That's
afford to pay for it, right?
yeah.
And you're like, hey, on my website, if you can't afford to join the community, it's all good. I've put out all these other free things that you guys can go check out. And when you're ready to come be a part of this group, I hope these things can help move you along. And then when you're ready, come join us.
Dude, that is such a brilliant perspective. I thank you for that. That helps me personally on, the sawdust idea
Hmm.
of because helping people in one-on-one practice, there are great nuggets. There's transformations that are
Yes.
happening, and then you can point to like this component without revealing the people and the privacy, all
Sure.
that, but like the moment and the nugget is there that can then be gifted to help other
Yes.
people. Oh my fucking God, I love
Yeah,
that.
man. Yeah. Like imagine
Dude,
imagine in
you
a
just
private
changed a
call.
lot for me. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And for me, it's actually a sequencing thing. And so what I mean by that is so many people start with like, I need to start doing everything for free. I need to help everyone. I'm going to do a
Yeah.
free community. And then eventually, when I hit some magic number of people, then I'm going to try to figure out how to get paid, how to charge, right? And
Yeah.
that is a really hard thing to do. Like
Yeah.
I've had people say like, I've been running a free newsletter for 2 years. I've been doing a free YouTube video every week for 2 years. I've got all these subscribers. I've got all this stuff. Now, how do I switch it to paid? I'm like, I mean, you've set this expectation that you just
Yeah.
give everything away for free. Like
Yeah.
now you're going to have to give more away to try to charge, or else, like, why would they
Yeah.
pay? So it's a really difficult thing to do. So my perspective has been just to flip it and do the opposite. So start with something paid and go after that center of the bullseye type of audience that you can serve and that who they can pay.
Yeah.
And then eventually you can spread out farther and farther and farther until you're giving away things to that broadest audience.
I love that. Thank you. That's super cool. Um,
You're welcome. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I,
Who do I send the check to? You're gonna invoice me.
I'll send you after the. No, but you were asking like what are some tips like for other people who are listening who are thinking about starting a community. So that would be one of the
Yeah.
main first ones, right? It's like there's a
Let's
fork
say
in the
paid.
road. Yeah,
Let's say
let's
paid
go.
because
You're
I'm a
going
big
paid.
yeah,
Yep.
because I'm just from a me standpoint, and I don't
Yep.
have the experience that you have, but free tends to there's zero commitment on free.
Exactly. Yep.
So And even in ADHD, there's no commitment with money either.
Yeah.
Like you could spend $2,000 and not do a course. That's
Yeah.
a thing. So, but it's somebody that's wants to invest, wants to help, has purpose in
Hmm.
their heart to serve a community. And like, what should they watch out for? What should they make sure they
Hmm.
don't do? And what should they do? I don't know. Does that make sense? Is that
Absolutely.
okay? Good.
And the answer,
Give us your sawdust,
it
please.
falls outside of the small community box itself. And so what I mean by
Okay.
that is the biggest thing that I've seen trip people up and cause them not to succeed when creating a community is the marketing side of things.
Hmm.
So it's around having an audience, having a followership. I mean, I in my early days, I I had some clients who paid me a lot of money and we worked together and we built this amazing, beautiful, polished community, this box, this container.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great, so who are you going to launch this to? Like, how many people are on your email list and your social media and all that stuff? And they were like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, like your
Uh,
audience, like you're building a community because you have an audience or a following, right? And they're like, no. Like, well, what? What do you mean no? Like, like we don't have anyone to
if you
sell
build
this
it, they will
to.
come. The field of
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah, I guess they didn't get the memo that that is no longer true. So that is actually one of my biggest preaching things is like, if you build it, they will not come. Like you have to make them come. And so one of the first things that you should be doing is having a plan or a strategy for building an audience. And that's
Okay.
usually done through creating content
Yeah.
or things like paying for ads or having sponsors or just you have to have something where you're going to have an inflow of new people because engaging them and retaining them and doing all of those things are really, really hard. But you have to have people to start with. And so it sounds super obvious, but I've just seen it over and over again.
What are things to definitely make sure you have in your community?
I think live events are a really, really powerful tool and
Mhm.
feature. And so just thinking about what kinds of events would be really appealing and how often should you do them. So I've had some people be like, well, I could do an event like every day for an hour, and what I've realized is the more that you do them, the less valuable they feel and the less potent. So you could go from anywhere from once a month to once a week to multiple times a week, and that's going to be the fastest way to get people to really connect with each other and to engage with each other,
Yeah.
but you have to make sure that they actually show up to the calls. So you want to make sure you're not just like, I'm having an office hours call. Like that doesn't sound like a lot of people do that. I've done that, but
Yeah.
doesn't sound like the most interesting, exciting thing. So
Yeah.
people,
And
because they're
sometimes
thinking
nobody
like,
shows up.
yeah, nobody shows up, and that sucks to be there and be like, well, it's 10 minutes past. Is anybody coming? And then nobody
Yeah.
comes, right?
Yeah.
Versus, let's say we were going to do a genius session today, and I'm going to break down the four types of communities. People might be like, oh, that sounds interesting. I should go to that call. Or maybe a new member icebreaker welcome call, connect call, where you're going to get paired up and meet all these other cool people. Oh, that sounds cool. I'm a
Oh,
new member,
dude. I
right?
I'm and that's going to be added to my community.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right? Or it's like, hey, let's have a coffee chat, fireside chat discussing ethics around AI and community stuff. Anyone who's interested on the philosophy of AI stuff is probably going to come. Versus like,
Dude.
anyone want to come to another office hours?
Yeah.
You know? So that those are just some of the things.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
get why you get paid the big bucks, man. Like you just you're like these are casual, just roll off your tongue ideas, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh my God, yeah, Jordan. Thank you so
my
much for
pleasure.
being here. Now, I'm a huge fan of
Mm,
you, but like the idea of community as a big component, especially in the dawning of AI and the internet, where we are slowly going away from each other. I think community is going to be like, it's going to get bigger and better. It has
yeah,
to, because we're desperate for connection. Um, can you talk a little bit about like, I'm going to get put in the show notes how people can find you and people will know that, but is there anything specific that you would recommend people or the type of people that you're helping or anything that you want to leave us with? And then I'll just shout it from the rooftops in the show notes.
sure. So A lot of this community building world to me feels like you're just kind of wandering in the desert, in the wilderness. There's not this clear plan, where a lot of times with more traditional businesses, it's clear what the steps are and the order of things.
Yeah.
So I've put together a lot of resources for free on my site that you can go check out to try to help people move through this and get more clarity and vision. So one of the things is I got to work with Ali Abdaal last year, helping him build a new community, which was a really fun experience.
That's awesome.
And I actually did an hour long behind the scenes breakdown of actually showing you how we went through the process of making the strategic decisions on everything from the pricing to who it was for, to what was going to be included, to how it's structured. So that serves to really demystify, because we all just get to see the finished product, but this is how we actually made it. And so I think that would be really cool for people to see and probably get some ideas.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, you can check that out.
The link, I'll put the link directly to that in there. I'll put a few links in there. I don't know. I can't help myself. But you also have a thing on your site. Can I just link to it? Like it's you've got a number of them. Like how do the different types of communities broken down?
Yep.
What would you recommend? I'm an ADHDer. I'm brand new to making community. I'm gonna make one. I swear to God, I'm making one. What is the thing to sign up for?
Yeah, I would say download the paid community blueprint, which is the 4 types of communities. That's going to help you understand which road you want to go down based on your goals, your resources, your vision. And it's going to give you a lot more clarity of like, oh, this is the kind of community that I'm going to create. Okay, cool. Then once you do that, probably watching the behind the scenes of Ali Abdaal will help to make it more real.
That's awesome, man. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for coming out of the show and talking to me. I've got nuggets that I'm implementing literally immediately.
Amazing. That's Thanks, awesome. Man. I love to hear that. Yeah, my pleasure. This was super fun, Russ. I appreciate you.
Cool. That was such a fun conversation. I want to add something to the tail end of this because Jordan, he's so generous. After the interview, he stayed on the call with me. He shot the shit with me for a little bit, answered some personal questions I had about my community, and he gave me some great advice. He didn't have to do that. I love the helpers of the world. You know, there's those people out there that you're like, oh man, that person cares. That's awesome. And Jordan is one of those guys. And now I can't wait to get ADHD Big Brother to a place where I get to hire Jordan to take us to the next level. Let's go. And if any of you guys out there are like, hey, I want to build an ADHD community. This is what I want to do. Or I have a community in mind that I want to build. I highly recommend dig into the show notes and grab Jordan's paid community blueprint. Go get it. I got the paid community blueprint and I got tons of value out of it. And if you got value out of the podcast, if you know somebody that would benefit from the knowledge given herein, therein, inside this podcast, can you please click on the share button wherever it may be and share this with your people? I would greatly appreciate it. And I bet they would greatly appreciate it. And there you'll be, being utterly appreciated. And that's gotta feel good. Alrighty, with that, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And I shall talk to you later.